Let me begin with a question. Have you ever faced a situation where what you wanted to do and what you knew was right were not the same? Perhaps it was a career decision, a relationship, a moment where your personal happiness stood on one side and your responsibility stood on the other, and you had to choose. These are the moments that define leadership. In the Ramayana, this conflict is not rare. It appears again and again. And at the center of it stands Rama, a leader who repeatedly chooses duty over personal desire. But what does that really mean? And what does it ask of us as leaders? Welcome to the Dharma of Leadership, a podcast exploring timeless leadership lessons from the Ramayana. I am your host, Kishore Kumar Thakur, leadership coach and facilitator. In the previous episode, we explored how character is formed long before leadership is tested. Today, we move into a more difficult space because leadership is not only about preparation, it is about choice. And often, the most difficult leadership choices arise when duty conflicts with desire. At a human level, this conflict is universal. We all have desires. The desire for success, recognition, comfort, belonging, happiness. At the same time, we also carry responsibilities to our roles, to our commitments, and to others who depend on us. Most of the time, these two move together, but sometimes they collide. And when they do, we experience tension. Because no matter what we choose, something is lost. One of the most powerful examples of this conflict is Rama's decision to accept exile. On one side, a rightful coronation, the love of the people, the opportunity to lead. On the other, a promise made by his father, the expectations of Dharma, the responsibility to uphold truth. Rama's personal desire could have easily aligned with becoming king. That was nothing unjust. There was nothing unjust in it. Nothing inappropriate. And yet, when faced with this conflict, Rama chose duty. He chose to honor his father's word. He chose to walk away from power. It is important to pause here. because sometimes we interpret such decisions as easy or natural, but they are not. Choosing the duty over desire does not mean the absence of emotion. It does not mean there is no disappointment, no pain, no sense of loss. Rama's greatness lies not in the absence of desire, but in his ability to act beyond it. This is an important leadership insight. Leaders do not become effective because they lack emotion. They become effective because they are not controlled by it. This conflict is not limited to Rama alone. When Ram prepares to leave for exile, Sita chooses to accompany him. Lakshmana chooses to leave behind his own life and responsibilities. For Sita, the choice is between comfort and security, or commitment and companionship. For Lakshman, the choice is between personal life or loyalty and service. Each of them faces same fundamental question: what does duty ask of me in this moment? This brings us to an important understanding. Leadership is not defined only by external achievements. It is defined by the quality of choices we make under pressure. When everything is easy, leadership is not tested. When choices are comfortable, leadership is not revealed. Leadership reveals itself when there is a cost, there is a sacrifice, there is a tension between competing values, and in those moments, the question is not what do I prefer? The question is, what is the right thing to do? The Ramayana also shows us what happens when leaders consistently choose desire over duty. Through characters like Ravan, we see how desire can become obsession. Power can amplify ego, and judgment can become clouded. Ravana is not lacking in intelligence. He is lacking in restraint. And that lack of restraint ultimately leads to his downfall. This contrast reinforces an important lesson. Desire is not the problem. Uncontrolled desire is. At this point, it is important to clarify something. The Ramayana does not suggest that desire must always be suppressed, nor does it suggest that leaders must constantly sacrifice personal happiness. Instead, it invites us to develop the wisdom to recognize when desire is aligned with Dharma and when it is not. Because there are moments when fulfilling one's role and pursuing one's aspirations can coexist. But when they conflict, clarity is required. Let me leave you with a reflection. Think about a situation in your life where you knew what you wanted, but you also knew what was right. And the two were not the same. What did you choose? And what guided that choice? Now consider this. If a similar situation arises again, what will guide you next time? Desire, convenience, or dharma? The Ramayana does not present leadership as a path of comfort. It presents it as a path of awareness, responsibility, and choice. A path where each decision shapes not only outcomes but character. In the coming episodes, we will continue to explore these moments of choice and the leadership lessons they offer. Thank you for listening to the Dharma of Leadership. Until next time, may your leadership be guided by clarity, courage, and Dharma. Thank you.